Hello, welcome to lesson 19 of my Erlang tutorial. In this lesson, I will continue talking about maps and I will create simple project which will use maps and this will be simple key value server. Now, this key value server will be based on two processes, map client process and map server process. So of course, server is this key values store, very simple key value store, and the client can send a command with some parameters, for example, get key, and then within this map server we will return the value of key if it exists in the map. So I will use it. Uh, I will of course use maps for storing the data inside. It will be, for the simplicity reason, it will be a single process server. Of course, for the real use case, I would probably first of all use Erlang for building multi-process server, and I would not use maps data structure, but I would rather use Mnesia database, which is I will also talk in the future about Mnesia, but I just want to demonstrate how I would build this simple prototype based on map. And in the future, I will also start extending this project so that it will look more like yeah, more it will be more robust multi-process first of all, and secondly use some more advanced backend. But yeah, for now let's build this simple example and extend it. So at this point, I want to build the following operations in my store. I want a get operation, get key operation, set key with given value, size, keys. So size will return the size of the number of all entries in my database. Keys will return all the keys in my database. Delete allows me to delete key from the database, from the store, and exists gives me information whether given key exists in my store. Um, so I mentioned that in the future I would like to extend it with, first of all, multi-process. Maybe I'll note it down also here. First thing would be to build multi-process. Second potential for improvement is to introduce Mnesia database for storing the keys. And the third, of course, to build the socket application. At this point, I will use message passing. So it will work between two Erlang processes. But as you can see, there is big potential to extend this project and build something very nice with Erlang. So, of course, for now, this is not true. So I'll erase it, and we are starting with simple prototype. So let me save this. Let me close it, and let me open Emacs, and I will start with the server process or the server module. For this reason, I'm going to create map server Erlang, and of course, as always, I'm defining module map server, and it will export two functions. Start with RET0, which will start my server, and loop with RET1. Now I want to write start function, which will start my server, and by start I mean spawn new process, map server, loop. So from this module it will be a loop function. It will be handled with the loop function, which takes one argument, and initially I want to pass empty map to this process. So at the beginning the store is empty when I'm starting the process. So important information that this store won't save the data on the disk. It always keeps the data in the memory, and once the server is restarted or stopped, all the keys are, let's say, removed. Um, my loop takes map. At the beginning, as I mentioned, it will be empty map, but you will see that certain operations, when I will be operating on my store, will modify this map. And I will show you how to, you may wonder how to use, if the map, if this map basically doesn't, the modification of the map doesn't have side effect. It will always return the new map with modified data, how to handle it in such server scenario. Okay, so in the loop, I want to process some messages. So I'm typing receive and then the end. So in this receive block, I'm of course processing some messages from the client. If I'm processing from the client, I'm writing here the client process. I receive some message. In this case, first operation I want to implement is get. So client sends me the tuple with the get atom and the key which he wants to get. In this case, I want to reply to the client with the following message. I want to send my process ID, and I want to send the result of find operation um, in my map. So I will show you soon how it will look like as a response. But there were two operations. One was find, and second one was get. If you remember, in map built-in functions. So find will return always. Maybe I'll write it in the comment. Maps find. This will take the key and the map, and it will return either OK and the value if the value was found, or error if the value is not in the map. So let's try. We will try it once I will implement the client. But for now, we have this thing, and then the next thing which will happen here is I want to execute the loop. And of course, in this loop, I'm passing the map which I received here. So the state of the map has not changed. I will also maybe quickly implement the new operation which will be set. So I want to set the key, set key and value. So the client will send me this tuple. First element of the tuple is set, and then the key and the value, which should be set in the store. And in this case, what I want to do, I want to update my map. So I will write updated map, and the updated map I will get by setting this key, this value in this map. So this is, I think, very important to this kind of state changing. As you can see, I didn't modify this map. I grabbed the new map, updated map, and let me show what I will do next. Once I updated the map, I want to reply with something like, of course, I want to reply with my process ID, and I want to pass OK, atom OK, and then the key and the value. So server will reply OK. I said for this key, I set this value. I could just also reply with just OK, but let's say that I want to also pass the value which I set. Now in the loop here, I no longer want to set the map, but updated map, because I want to pass to the next iteration of this loop. I want to pass state with which changed. So in this case, the map was updated with new key. So I want to, in the next iteration, I want to operate on new map. So this is it. And let me maybe implement the next operation. In this case, it will be size. So I receive from the client, I receive the tuple only with atom size, which means the client wants to know what's the size of my map, or was the total number of keys in the store. So in this case, I want to simply reply to the client with something like this. Okay, my process ID, and then okay. I want to say that the operation was okay. Of course, in the future, I will also show how to handle errors in Erlang, so we could maybe make it more robust, this server and the client as well. So in this case, I want to pass the tuple. First element will be okay, and the second element will be size of the map or size of the store. And in this case, this operation didn't modify my map, so I'm just passing existing map to the next iteration. Another operation, as I mentioned, which I want to implement is the operation of getting all the keys from the map. So when I receive such command, tuple with keys, I want to reply with client, and then self, so to pass the process ID of server process, and then I want to pass here okay, maps, and then I'm using this built-in function to grab keys from this map. This operation doesn't modify the map, so I'm passing the map which I received. And I can implement another operation here, client, which will be delete. So to delete, I will get the tuple. First element will be delete atom, and the second element will be key, which should be deleted. In this case, client. In this case, first of all, so maybe comment here is that this operation always tries to remove the key and does not check if the key exists. So we could also maybe improve it in the future, that we first check if the key exists in the map, and if it doesn't exist, we reply with some information not found or something. But in this case, I will just try to remove using the remove built-in function key and the map. And of course, I want to reply to the client something like okay, the key. I could also write something like deleted key or something, but let's say I will use okay for all successful results. And then to the next iteration of my loop, I want to pass updated map. And the last operation I want to implement for my simple server process will be exists. and the key. So the client wants to know whether given key exists uh, in my map. In this case, I want to reply to my client something like self, and then OK, operation is successful. Maps is key map. So this give me the true if the key exists and false if it doesn't exist. And then the loop map. And here I don't put a semicolon because this is the last operation. So this is my simple process which will handle, which will act as a key value store. If I have this server, maybe I could also implement client so we can play with it. For this reason, I will create new module, map client, and it looks like this. Module, of course, map client. And what I want to export. I want to export all the operations I can execute on my server. So in this case will be get. Get takes two arguments. First will be the server process ID, and then the second will be the key I want to get. Set, maybe get value. Set value will take three, server process ID, key, and the value. Get size will take one, only server process ID. Get keys takes one, only server process ID. Delete takes two, server process ID and the key which should be deleted, and exists to server process ID and the key. Okay, and let's start implementing each operations. First of all, get value, server and key, right? We take the server process ID and the key which should be taken from the server, and for this reason we are sending to the server, we send the from our process the command get and the key which should be taken, and and we will receive we can receive two things. Either we'll receive OK and the value, so we are doing pattern matching here. So then we just want to return value which was returned from the server, or we will receive from the server error. In this case, we want to return error. So the client will return error also. Next operation in my client I want to implement is to set key and the value in my store. For this reason, I will type something like this. I want to send the message to the server self, and here I have set key value. Once the message was sent, I want to receive the reply from the server, and the reply in my case will be at this point. I'm implementing happy path here. I could also implement some error handling, but this will be I want to provide the clearest code for the logic, and in the future I will also show the error handling. So if I set successfully, I will just return OK. I could also do some more error handling, but yeah, let's leave it for the next lessons. Get size will look like this. I have server. I want to send the message to the server. Get size, self, and then here size. So I want to send first, and then I will receive message from the server. And here I will have, for the size I will receive from the server, I get something like this. Okay, and the size which I received. And once I receive the size, of course, I want to present it to the client. Next operation I want to implement is Getkeys. So the Getkeys also gets only server as an argument, and it will send the following message to the server. Of course, the process ID which sends this message, and then the command keys. So here we have this thing, and after we send this, we want to receive reply from the server, and we're doing pattern matching server and the keys. So keys could be it will be the list of empty list or list with elements. So I just want to present it, return it to the client. Next thing is delete, and here I'm passing server and the key which I want to delete, and I'm sending the message to my server, of course my process ID, and then delete and the key to tell the server that it should delete this key. And then I'm going to the receive block, and in the receive block I'm doing the pattern matching, whether it was successful, server, and then okay, key. Let's see, and if it was okay, it returned okay, then I just return okay. What else I want to implement? The last operation in my server is exists. So if I want to pass the exist I want to check if given key exists in my database. So here I'm passing my process ID, and then the command exists as a atom in the tuple, and the key to ask my server if this key exists. And of course server will reply, so I need to do the pattern matching on this reply, and here I will receive some message from my server and the value, and I want to just return the value because it will be either true or false. Okay, so this is my implementation of the client. Now let's try it out. For this reason, I will use again Erlang shell. I will compile server module. Looks good. I will compile client module. Looks good. I will start my server. Server start. Okay, I forgot to assign it to some variable so that I can use it in my client. So let me maybe open it again. Map server, map client. Okay, and now map server will take the process ID of the map server. So for this reason, I will invoke start from the map server to create new server and start it. Now the server process is started in the background, and to send the message to it, I will use this map server. Now let's go one by one. Let's get some value from the server. Now or maybe let's check the size. Get size of map server. It's 0 right now. So let's put some values. Set value map server, and then key 1, 2, 3, for example. Okay, I got okay reply. The value was set. So now let's check the size. The size is 1, and let's take the value of this key. Get value, and as you can see, it returned me the value of my key. Let's put some more values there. Key 1, key 2, key 3. Now let's check the size. Now I have 4 elements. Let's see what kind of keys I have in my database. I have key, key 1, key 2, and key 3. So I already tested get value, set value, get size, get keys. Okay, so let's try to delete the key. I will remove this first key from my store, delete, and I will pass key. Now let's see what kind of keys I have. I have only 3 keys, key 1, key 2, key 3, and the size should be only 3 elements, so it works correctly. And the last thing I can do is to check if the key exists. So I will check if the removed key exists. Okay, I got false, it doesn't exist, while for key 1 I got true, so it exists. So as you can see, I was able to easily implement this simple key value store and the client for it based on Erlang processes. So at this point it will work only within Erlang processes, but in the future I will be extending this to implement also, as I mentioned, socket communication, so external processes can contact this server, maybe using JSON protocol, or maybe we'll implement Redis protocol, and maybe we could work on some Redis clone in Erlang based on Mnesia, sockets, and multi-processes. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, Redis is single process, but we can do the variation of it. I also really recommend to you to do some kind of uh, new operations as an exercise for this. So for example, you could implement get keys, and then you are passing not the single key, but you may pass the list of keys you want to take, key 1 and key 2, for example, and do some practices or set values to set multiple values. So this is a lot of fun working with Erlang. So I hope you liked this demo. Stay tuned for other videos, and thanks for watching. Cheers, bye bye.